Thank you so much once more for the invitation. Very, very happy to talk about the project. I start by giving you a little sense of what UNIDEE is and in which frame it operates. So UNIDEE is an office of a bigger institution called Cittadellarte-Fondazione Pistoletto. It was founded in 1999 by Italian artist Michelangelo Pistoletto. You may know him from his very famous Arte Povera work. This is the section of Pistoletto Foundation dedicated to organization of residencies. Over the last almost now 25 years, UNIDEE has been devoted to hosting international practitioners from different backgrounds whose work has a focus on social responsibility and transformation in relation to, of course, art practices. There are different formats of residency in place in UNIDEE, besides the one that I'm going to illustrate to you today. There are also, just to name one other, residency based on research, which are organized with the international partner institutions of the foundation and allow residents to dedicate themselves full-time to their research at their own pace in a more self-organized manner. After 2013, the program started engaging with these season-long research teams, which are conceived by the UNIDEE Curator and framing the operation of the department. In 2015, they started also organizing around this module format, which is yet again the format of residency that is participating in this project in particular. These are program-based intensive residency periods, which can be roughly most of the times 1 week long. So since 2017, this is a bit of history still, UNIDEE decided to work with visiting curators. So every 2 years, they invite a new curator to conceive a curatorial framework, an overarching theme, let's say, which gives form to the program of residency for the duration of the biennium. And this is me. I'm the current visiting curator of UNIDEE. I started in autumn, and I'm going to be there until next year. So the season I'm curating, which is part also of is participating in the open call you probably saw. It's called Neither on Land Nor at Sea, Meeting by the Mediterranean Impossible. It is a project which tries to tackle some complexities of geographical thinking through the many difficulties and complexities of the Mediterranean and the Mediterranean concept spaces, which are treated as sites of word making, experimentation in communal living. And is also an attempt to try and deal with ungrounded geographies and colliding historicity as meeting places. Just to give you a very synthetic brief of the concept. These are, yet again, research-based residencies. Therefore, the program is articulated throughout point of attention, which relate to the main concept. Going to the call in particular, this is a call, the open call that is open now, refers to the first 3 modules in the program, the spring and summer season. They are co-curated with mentors because I decided to invite a mentor to co-curate with me each of the modules, so to have this kind of curatorial polyvocality. The 3 mentors are Nur Abed, artist and filmmaker, Fraud, a spatial researcher Fraud, and artist, researcher, educator Alessandra Ferrini. So the first module will be May, then we are going to have 2 interlacing modules in June. I say interlacing because the module in June will have also an overlapping in which both groups of participants will be on site at the same time for a couple of days. I mean, to go maybe into some specificity of the call, we aim to have roughly 8 participants in each module. The module is, the attendance to the module is free, and we can provide accommodation. There is also a very limited number of bursary that go towards travel costs and cost for board. And maybe if you want, we can go through the open call in terms of how does it work. It's very simple, the application process. There is just a form and requirement to share a curriculum and a short portfolio. The program is open to everyone. There is not restriction in terms of the methodologies of the discipline of the participants. Therefore, it's not only dedicated to visual artists, but also to curators, to researchers, writers, anyone who will be first and foremost interested in the topics that can converge in the curatorial framework that we implemented, and or have already a practice which deal with such issues in their own specific way. And there is no restriction in terms, of course, of background or age, etc. We have the deadline approaching because it's going to be already next Wednesday. And afterwards, I think we'll be able to give a response about the selected participants by the week after. We have a deadline for our own selection on the 18th of April. I don't know if you have, tell me, yeah.
I think I have several questions. The first one is related to the top of the program, which is focused on the complexity of Mediterranean region. And I'm wondering if potential applicants, they should be coming from the region or their practice should be focused on that. So, yeah.
It's a very good question. I was going to go there. Thank you for asking that. Absolutely not. It's not about regional thinking. It's more about thinking through geography. Therefore, these same methodologies which can emerge from the specific case of the Mediterranean can be applied to very different latitudes. And actually, we encourage that. There will be also guests that are going to frame conceptually the programming, which are not either based or not from the Mediterranean. I think it's very precious that there is an overlapping and exchange in these terms. So absolutely no regional restrictions.
Okay, thank you. And what kind of portfolio can be expected from curators who are applying, for example?
I think it's, we gave yet again a very, we allowed just a very little short portfolio of a couple of projects. Can be anything really. If you have an exhibition proposal or an exhibition that already happened, if you have even a text or any other form of work that you want to share, publicated or not, I think it's for us just important, really important to see that there is an actual interest in the topic, although the frame is very broad and wants to be very open because we want to incorporate as many voices as possible. Still is nevertheless quite specific because it's research grounded. Therefore, it's important for us to see that there is an anchor there, and anything you feel shows this the best is very welcome in the portfolio.
Okay, thanks. And since there are always some emerging practitioners who are watching our videos and Q&As, I would like to ask some questions related, like focused on them. First is that if emerging professionals are welcome, like if there is any restriction in terms of how much experience they should be having and these kind of things. And also, if we could expand more on the specifics of research residency. So if someone who has never done that and is listening to this conversation can get more idea about what is research residency for the curator, for example.
Absolutely. So as for the first question, I think I think we're very open. Yet again, there is no restriction in terms of age. Therefore, you can be even not so experienced, but still you need to have an initial thought about certain issues yet again. So if you are at the beginning of your research, I also welcome I think it's very important that there is different people participating in settings that are so collaborative and participatory, and it's precious also this different in terms of the stage of career. But I expect people to be at least informed and keen to expand the knowledge they already have, how big or how little it is. As for research residency, of course, is a research residency insofar as this it is structured around the research topic, meaning that there is already focus, although yet again very expandable. But in general, I think it's very difficult to give put a name on these objects that the modules are. I would say these are very much structured week-long programmings, meaning that people will be busy with a program that is, of course, very much tailored around the group. There is nothing vertical, therefore, even the mentor and myself are going to shape the programming around people, but still they will be busy doing things that they don't necessarily decide themselves. Instead, when you are going for residency, which doesn't have a program attached, you can decide for yourself and do whatever you want, whatever fits best. In this case, you have to be willing to participate, which is possibly the only requirement we have. So in this case, this is the kind of residence we are proposing. For sure, there is a lot of margin for people to influence the pace of the program, the structure of it, yet again, because we really want this to be a common communal effort, but you can expect to be involved in quite a strong structure.
Yeah, and how many people will be accepted in total?
We are expecting to have 8 people for each module. Okay. We can be a little bit flexible, of course, but normally we want to keep a group pretty compact because, of course, for the kind of work that we are foreseeing would be much better, less dispersive.
Okay, and these 8 people for each module, it's going to be a mixed group of people coming from different backgrounds, as far as I understood, right? Yeah,
so absolutely.
Curator, artist, and so people in disciplines.
Also, in the open call, we suggest people to present a first and the second choice as for the module, so we can have some flexibility in choosing also the groups. And one thing that I want to add, since of course we are talking about a geography, as you said before, a regional focus somewhat, even though it's not truly that, but which still will attract a lot of people, I hope from extra European geographies, which probably we will need to apply for visa, and the time is pretty short. First of all, keep in mind that we can try and support as much as possible this process, and also in case we cannot manage, because there are geographies that are at this moment, very difficult to have a visa from, we can always try and negotiate a participation in a later moment, since the program will go on until 2024. This to be kept in mind if you are in your mind whether to apply or not, because you are afraid that you won't make it to Europe, to Italy. Just I wanted to underline it.
Sure. Wow, thank you very much. That sounds very great to have this kind of flexibility, because indeed for people who need to go through this bureaucratic process, this might be related to some complexities for sure. And Chiara, I think my last question, if you could remind me, please, if the final outcome of the residency should be any project, or what is the final result, or if there is any, of course.
So there is not result, it's not an outcome-oriented project, but still we want to have some sort of remains and legacy of each module. We are planning it according to the methodology of each mentor. So there will be different things. We asked either to each participant to leave something if they want to. It can be even a commented biographical note or a piece of video or everything, anything really. Or in some cases, the mentors are already thinking about a collective outcome, like the making of a glossary or of a toolkit, and these things will stay. We are organizing and working on a digital platform which will host this material, and we will also open this space for residents to contribute if they want to. And also in some cases, some things can actually occupy the space in Biella and stay for people that are going to attend the upcoming modules. I really wish that we will be able to create a connection and interlinking between the different moments of this residency. So at the end of the biennium, although there will be different point of intensity, we have still a quite organic path. So this is a little bit of the outcome which we are going to expect.
Great. Well, me personally, I really like the kind of residencies which are not so much focused on like production and the final outcome, and it's more about process and research and going deep into a certain topic. So that sounds really great. Well, I think from my side, there are no more questions. And if anyone from audience would like to ask something, please feel free to raise your hand or just unmute yourself and ask the question if you have any. Because if not, then we can slowly close the session because we try to keep them short if it's possible. So people who refer to it afterwards, they can easily get the information. Yeah, Patrick?
Sure, yeah. Just a quick question. I'm wondering, Chiara, how different the different modules might be. Are you planning on looking, I know that there's a centralizing theme uniting the three, but we're supposed to rank our preferences in terms of which one we'd prefer to go to. Is there any kind of information about or outline about the different ones that could be useful at this stage?
Yeah, I mean, so far we decided not to have too much information as for the structure of the programming. But what we wanted to focus on was the methodology of the mentor. This will give you the key to understand what kind of program you can expect. This is why also in the open call you saw there is little notes, conceptual notes written by the mentors in just a response to the curatorial concept. And already, I think by reading through them, you see how different they are in approaches. So for example, Noor only went for a quote, very poetic quote, a poetry, actually, piece of poetry. She has an approach that you can expect already. If you think about Freud, which they wrote almost a little essay, which is very referenced. So there would be this kind of structured workshop. And similarly to Alessandra, I have to say also in this case, very clear that the second and third module are pretty much interlinked. They happened one after the other. There is the overlapping. And it is so because also the methodologies of these two mentors are pretty resonating one with the other. So I can expect them to look a little bit more similar, whereas Noor has their own word. So yeah, it's really much relying on what the mentor represent, because they are a little bit of a focus or a lens we used to expand on the project. So yeah, of course there would be what we wrote in the call. So you always can expect very participatory formats, workshop-like settings, or performative walks, or dinners that turn into talks. You can expect that. This is going to be always the case. But as for the sense, the feeling, it comes through the mentor, most definitely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Nona. I'll jump right in, and I I joined the conversation information session late. So Chiara, if you could just reconfirm for me whether a selected participant can only attend one of the 3 sessions available.
I lost you. I think there was a little. I heard the first part of the question. Yeah, now I hear.
So great. So once selected as a participant, would there be a requirement to attend all the 3 sessions, or it's only one of the 3 sessions available, either one in the spring or either of the 2 in the summer? Okay.
Yeah, it's only one. I mean, I think you can, of course, apply again. There will be other calls also for other seasons in the future. And if people want to get back on board, is always an option. But as for this call, I think we are aiming to have just people participating in one of the 3 modules, one of their choice, hopefully, of course. We give a first and second choice nevertheless, so we can organize a bit the groups. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there more questions from the audience?
Yes, I do have one.
Sure.
Hi.
Sure.
So I'm sorry I arrived late, so I hope you didn't answer this question yet. I was wondering what you are expecting in the application in terms of how structured must be the idea. Do we need to come with an idea to research with you, or is it more based on what we have been doing so far?
It's really about what you've been doing. There are just a couple of questions in the application form, actually, and one is just presenting your work, and the other one is putting your work into the context of the curatorial framework.
Okay.
So of course it's very open. It's just for us to get a sense whether your practice is already somehow connected with this frame, but doesn't need to come with a proposal also, because it's not, as we were talking about before, it's not a residency that is oriented towards an outcome. So it doesn't have to be so structured in a sense that you already know what you're going to do. It's more about having an intention, let's say. Okay.
And another question in terms of choosing the one of the 3 sessions, is it just a chronology things, like a date thing, or because I couldn't see exactly if there were like different people coming in for each of the module, or if there was a different topic that was more developed.
Yeah, I think, it's something that maybe I replied in previous questions, but it's each of the module is co-curated with an invited mentor, meaning that each of the mentor, of course, is giving shape to the programming. For the choice of which module fits best, your intention is very much dependent on which of the mentors' practices and methodology, if it's more inspiring for you. So this will give the difference from one to the other.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, okay, if there are no more questions, then we can slowly close the session. And thanks to everyone for participating, for engaging. And Chiara, thanks a lot for being with us and giving this comprehensive overview of the program. I wish good luck to everyone with applying to this amazing residency program. There are not so many, so good luck to all of you, and also Chiara, good luck to you with all the selection.
Thank you so much.